The iPhone 5C, 5 reasons it's great and 5 reasons to wait. In this 15th episode of Phone Wars, let's do things a little different. If you've watched the intro video on my channel, you know that I believe there is no such thing as a perfect device, because we all have unique use cases. What's perfect for me may not be perfect for you, and the competition between iOS and Android stirs up some intense online debates. So let's look at the iPhone 5C from a couple of different angles. Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments. In the words of Scottish philosopher David Hume, truth springs from the argument amongst friends. Before I forget, if you're wondering what are my favorite products right now, I've left some back-to-school Amazon shopping lists that I'll be continuously updating in the links below. Anything you add to your cart actually supports the channel.
We now return you to regular programming.
The mobile phone industry, which includes basic cell phones, follows a somewhat boring growth rate year over year. All the exciting growth is happening with smartphones. Because Samsung makes everything from dumb phones to LTE-Advanced smart devices, the company rides the line between mobile phones and smartphones. Nokia used to dominate, but after the smartphone revolution, the company tripped and fell into Microsoft's arms. Apple was really a shock to the entire smartphone industry. Today, the company is the third largest overall mobile phone company and the second largest smartphone vendor in the world. No other phone vendor has shocked an industry as much as Apple has. But you can see that growth rates seem to be converging. In a highly competitive industry, the strategic advantages wear away so fast that we consumers quickly get bored as these formerly awe-inspiring gadgets become more like necessary, boring appliances. Now let's talk Apple. After every refresh, Apple gave the latest and greatest, highest performing iPhone the place of honor on the front page of Apple.com. That is, every year except this year. This time, the focus is on the iPhone 5C. Following the example set by the Moto X, Apple is personalizing the iPhone for the colorful. Apple and Google are both trying to elevate their smartphones above the boring status of appliances. And the best way to do that is through personalization, because we consumers place more value on things that seem to represent our particular tastes and interests. Or another way to think about it, both Apple through the iPhone and Google through Motorola are maintaining their margins and pricing power through industrial design and personalization. So far, they aren't trying to expand market share by going cheaper. To digress a bit, the life cycle of every new product follows a predictable pattern. The first to market establishes a whole new way of doing things, creating a standard.
Every once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything.
If you've seen this video I recently uploaded, you'll remember how revolutionary the original iPhone turned out to be. Even Eric Schmidt, Google's former CEO, showed up on stage to praise the iPhone.
This product is going to be hot.
As a board member, you'll get one of the first ones.
Yeah. Love it or hate it, Steve Jobs turned out to be right when he said,
"After today, I don't think anyone's going to look at these phones quite the same way. It's 5 years ahead of anything on any other phone."
The design and functionality were so revolutionary that all future iPhone releases pretty much did the same thing, just faster. After the launch, Google quickly gathered other tech companies into an alliance that focused on supporting open standards for mobile devices by offering an alternative to Apple's integrated mobile platform. To recap, the iPhone 3G had the same internals as the original iPhone, but with an updated design, faster cell network antennas, the App Store, and subsidized pricing. Worried about the App Store threat, Nokia quickly acquired Symbian, a smartphone operating system previously shared by these companies. That same year, HTC launched the first commercial phone with Android 1.0, followed by the first Android dessert, Cupcake. The 3GS had a better Samsung processor, more RAM, and a better battery. Google and HTC responded with Donuts, Eclair, and Nexus. The iPhone 4 was a huge improvement. Not only was it completely redesigned with glass, but it had Apple's first custom processor, double the RAM, a bigger battery, a better camera, and the highest resolution screen at the time. In response, Google came out with some frozen yogurt, gingerbread, and honeycomb. The iPhone 4S kept the same design but with Apple's first dual-core CPU, 7 times faster graphics, supported faster cellular networks, a better camera supported by Apple's custom lenses and image signal processor to quickly and accurately take pictures and record 1080p video. And of course, Siri. Google countered with Ice Cream Sandwich, while Nokia stopped supporting Symbian and went all in with Windows Phone. Last year, the iPhone 5 was thinner, lighter, and faster with a slightly larger screen. Microsoft just bought Nokia's consumer hardware business, and check the channel for videos that go over the latest things Google is doing with Jelly Bean and its first smartphone, the Moto X. Now that we've covered that, let's get into the 5 reasons why the iPhone 5C is actually great.
1.
First, the iPhone 5C has a more durable case. It's the first plastic phone since the 3GS while bringing hardware and software together through color. And the single polycarbonate plastic casing is unique. The steel-reinforced frame not only gives the device some heft and strength, but also acts as an antenna boosting reception.
2.
Second, if you've seen Network Wars on the channel, you'll know how a great mobile experience requires both wireless spectrum and compatible devices. Apple has really done a great job supporting the widest range of 3G and 4G LTE frequencies so far.
In fact, it supports more LTE bands than any other smartphone in the world.
There are 2 models in the US. One model supports LTE on T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. One variant falls back to 3G speeds on GSM, while the other variant falls back on CDMA. The other model supports Sprint. Actually, the Sprint model is a superset of the other model. If Sprint were to unlock it, this version of the iPhone 5C would work on any of the other 3 major US operators. And the Sprint model would also work in Japan, which is great for SoftBank. So for the people who want the most flexibility to choose their preferred LTE carrier, the iPhone 5C and 5S are the best on the market. In the US, if you can get Sprint to unlock it, their iPhone offers nearly complete portability across the Americas, Europe, Africa, and Asia.
3.
The third reason the iPhone 5C is great, Apple is doing some interesting things with its Bluetooth 4.0 smart-ready antennas. Its iBeacon Bluetooth low-energy technology delivers data over short distances to compatible iPhones. But I'll save my thoughts for a video covering future smart device innovations.
4.
Fourth, the iPhone 5C is a bit heavier than its predecessor, probably because of the 5% bigger battery. I prefer a bigger battery over a lighter device every time.
5.
And finally, the glossy color casing contrasts well with the soft matte cases, the first smartphone cases designed and made by Apple. So for better or worse, ever since the original iPhone, all the growth in the mobile industry has centered around Apple's smartphone designs. Nokia folded into Microsoft, BlackBerry is slowly dying off, and Google had to buy Motorola. The iPhone 5C represents Apple's strength in industrial design and branding as the company continues its successful strategy of marketing fashionable products. And with these bright colors, it will definitely be interesting to see if any other smartphone vendors will jump on the rainbow train. So although it's a great device with better battery life, great LTE network support, and a unique design, the iPhone isn't the perfect smartphone for everybody, and these are 5 reasons why you might want to wait.
1.
First, the C does not stand for cheap. Apple makes money by selling products, and the latest iPhones reiterate Apple's intention to remain a premium consumer electronics vendor. Google is actually managing Motorola in the exact same way. Both competitors are funding future innovations from the profits of current devices. And looking at this chart, why should Apple drop the price? The smartphone market is still growing pretty fast. While I would definitely recommend the 5C over the iPhone 4S, in terms of performance and design, internally, the 5C is actually identical to its predecessor. To review the iPhone 5 features, check the links below. But on the other hand, for $100 more, you can get the 5S with double the performance and some really interesting features I'll cover in the next video.
2.
Second, there is no support for 802.11ac Wi-Fi, which is actually weird considering Apple updated its MacBook Airs and wireless routers to support this faster standard.
3.
Third, there is no support for LTE-Advanced and carrier aggregation. At least not yet. For me, this is understandable because although LTE-Advanced is live right now in South Korea through SK Telecom and the Galaxy S4, AT&T won't even be testing this technology until next year. Most carriers are waiting for the 3GPP to standardize LTE-Advanced for interoperability.
4.
Fourth, there is still no NFC support. Apple is building its own standard through Bluetooth 4.0 and its iBeacon API, possibly opening the door for things like indoor maps, in-store marketing, Bluetooth low-energy smart devices, and a mobile payment infrastructure. And the Touch ID feature in the iPhone 5S seems to be a big piece of this strategy.
5.
Lastly, the iPhone 5C won't support voice and data on Verizon and Sprint's CDMA LTE network. But hopefully Apple included antennas supporting Verizon's voice over LTE rolling out next year. So in the next video, let's look into what we know so far about the iPhone 5S, like Touch ID, the new camera, the bigger battery, and of course, the 64-bit A7 chip and M7 Motion coprocessor. So if you'd like to support the channel and order your next device, check the Amazon links below to make sure you're getting the best deal. I'd like to thank all the most recent subscribers. Welcome to this channel, a place where I hope we can share ideas and opinions about innovative things that might one day qualify to be our next digital devices. And thanks for all the feedback from the Apple keynotes. In case you missed them, I put some links below. I always read every single comment, and thanks for liking and sharing these videos on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and Reddit. Your feedback always keeps me going. If you really like this video, click the squares from your computer or check the links below to watch related episodes. Now it's time for me to get back to work on the next video, here on